If you have or want to build a high-end gaming PC, the CPU and GPU are the two most important components. These two will determine the number of FPS that you get in your favorite games and how smooth the level of performance is going to be. Because if the CPU is too weak for your GPU, then you will be getting those known stutters or FPS drops that you want to avoid at all costs, and you will experience a terrible gaming performance, which, trust me, I see this happening all the time. But that's why today I am making this video. I will show you the best GPU and CPU combos for high-end gaming PC builds for 1440p and 4K resolution gaming, all budgets included. And of course for 1080p as well, but I will get to that later on. I'll show you the level of performance that you can achieve with each combo in both high demanding titles and esports shooters like Fortnite or Valorant, and the links to these CPU and GPUs will be down in the video description for you to check the latest pricing and availability. My name is Valentino, and if you find valuable information throughout this video, leave a like and subscribe. It's going to help the channel a lot. That being said, let's start. With the cheapest combo on this one, we have the Ryzen 5 7600X processor alongside the RTX 4070 Ti Super graphics card. Now, this CPU and GPU combo is going to be the best one for 1440p resolution in this list, just because the other combos are more for 4K rather than just 1440p. But of course, you can use any combo on this video at 1440p resolution and achieve high frame rates. Anyway, this particular combo will allow you to play any game that you want at 1440p ultra settings, and in one of the latest high demanding tests from TechSpot with games like The Last of Us Part 1, Starfield, Cyberpunk 2077, so very high demanding titles on high to ultra settings, the 4070 Ti Super was able to average over 120 FPS, so that's a very smooth number considering that there's no DLSS here, so no upscaler or anything like that, just native resolution, and you get 16 gigs of VRAM out of your 4070 Ti Super, meaning that it's also very capable of 4K resolution gaming in case you want to play at 4K on a budget, and in that case you will be able to achieve 70 plus FPS. However, if you are going to be using this combo for 4K in the most high demanding modern titles, then I do recommend you turning on DLSS, and then you will be achieving closer to 80 all the way up to 100 plus FPS depending on the game and depending on the settings. And the most important thing here is that our Ryzen 5 7600X will not bottleneck the 4070 Ti Super, so you will not experience those FPS drop or lag issues with lower tier CPUs combined with this graphics card. Now here I also recommend you considering AMD in the RX 7900 XT. This graphics card is almost $100 cheaper than the 4070 Ti Super, will give you about the same rasterized level of performance. In fact, the 7900 XT is even faster on average. For example, at 4K you can achieve 75 plus FPS native resolution instead of 70, but here you lose the NVIDIA features, which might be important for you. Let's say you like playing with DLSS, which is the better upscaler, or you want to play with ray tracing enabled, or you want to do content creation, productivity work, and those type of things. NVIDIA is usually better for those tasks, so I do recommend you the NVIDIA GPU if you want the more complete graphics card. But if you just don't want to spend those extra $100, then go with the 7900 XT. You will be getting the same level of gaming performance, rasterized performance I should say. So if you go with the 7900 XT and the Ryzen 5 7600X, the price for this combo when I'm recording this video is going to be around $880, and the price for the one with the NVIDIA graphics card is going to be around $970. Now remember that the prices might be different when you are watching this video, so I highly recommend you checking the latest prices and availability from the links down below. And when it comes to esports shooters, you can expect 240 plus FPS on average when it comes to 1440p competitive settings, and I'm talking about games like CS2, Valorant, Fortnite, and these type of games. And then you can achieve 360 plus FPS competitive settings when it comes to 1080p resolution, and over 165 plus FPS on average competitive settings at 4K resolution. And I wouldn't recommend you pairing this combo for 1080p in high demanding titles or just any combo in this video, but if you are going to be playing high CPU demanding games, esports shooters I should say, like Valorant and the games I've mentioned, and you want to compete, then I understand why you would go with a 1080p monitor. But other than that, if you're going to be playing high demanding games, you have a high-end gaming PC, you want a high-end monitor as well with a nice image quality, so 1440p or 4K resolution. With the next combo we have the same Ryzen 5 7600X. This is the mid-range combo by the way for high-end PCs, and you get the RX 7900 XTX graphics card. The RX 7900 XTX is a great 4K gaming graphics card that will allow you to play at 90 plus FPS when it comes to 4K ultra settings in the most high demanding titles, and around 110 to 120 FPS if you turn on FSR, which is the upscaler from AMD, which is not necessary to be honest, because 90 plus FPS in high demanding titles is all that you are going to need, and there's just no game that you can't run at 4K resolution ultra settings. But the reason why I call this one the mid-range combo is because you get the 7900 XTX, which doesn't have plenty of features like the next combo that I will mention, and with plenty of features I mean the Nvidia feature set, which makes it a more complete graphics card. But if all you care about is gaming performance, this one is one of the best combos in my opinion to pair for 4K resolution. If you want to play at 1440p, then I think the 7900 XTX is slightly of an overkill for 1440p resolution. For that reason, if you have more money to spend than the last combo and you want to play at 1440p, I recommend you upgrading your CPU instead to the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which is the fastest CPU in the entire market, and that will give you a nice boost of FPS in high CPU demanding game. Now, this combo with the 7900 XTX and the Ryzen 5 7600X is going to be around 1130 bucks when I'm recording this video, but if you are going to be spending this amount of money on a CPU and GPU, then I highly recommend you considering the next one, which is quite better, and I call this one the mid-range combo plus higher FPS, and the reason why is because the CPU is different, and instead of the Ryzen 5 7600X, you go with the 7800X3D, which, as I said before, is the fastest CPU in the entire market. So this one is the eSports combo variant of the last one, and you will be achieving higher FPS when it comes to those Valorant and Fortnite type of games, where you will be able to achieve 360 plus FPS on average when it comes to 1440p competitive settings, 540 plus FPS when it comes to 1080p competitive settings, and then over 240 plus FPS when it comes to 4K competitive settings, of course depending on the exact game that you're playing, because in some esports shooters you will be achieving way higher FPS at 4K or 1440p or 1080p, and in other games you will be achieving less. That depends on how high demanding the esports shooter is going to be. Now with the next combo we have the high-end CPU and GPU combo for high-end gaming PC builds. This one is not cheap by any means, but it has the Ryzen 7 7800X3D once again, and the reason why I am putting this CPU for the rest of this video is because, as I said before, it is the fastest one, so you can pair it with any graphics card in the entire market basically, and then you get the RTX 4080 Super, and this one has better features than the RX 7900 XTX. In terms of the level of performance, they are basically the same. Actually, the 4080 Super might be slightly slower on average, but you will not notice the difference regardless, and on high demanding titles, high to ultra settings, and I'm speaking about the same tech spot test that I've been talking about before with high demanding games like The Last of Us Part 1 or Cyberpunk 2077, 4K ultra settings, well, the 4080 Super was able to average 85 FPS, which is way more than enough for these type of games. But again, if you want to achieve even higher frame rates, you turn on DLSS quality, which works amazing at 4K resolution, and the average, instead of being 85, will be around 110 to 120 FPS depending on the game and depending on the settings. And I want to say that the 4080 Super is one of the best graphics cards in the entire market in terms of ray tracing performance, so you can turn on ray tracing and achieve a nice smooth level of performance, especially at 1440p resolution. But if you play at 4K, now I highly recommend you turning on DLSS quality, at least if you are going to be turning on ray tracing, because ray tracing is quite high demanding and the FPS is going to be lower when you turn it on. However, this is something that you should play with the settings, see what works for you and what feels right, which is the most important thing, because here I am just giving you tips, so take it or leave it, just try it yourself and see which one works best for you. Now the price for this high-end combo is going to be 1350 bucks when I'm recording this video, and once again, remember, prices might be different when you are watching this, so highly recommend you checking those links in the description for the latest prices and availability. And with the best of the best combo, if you just have a lot of money to spend and you want the highest end CPU and GPU combo for your highest end gaming PC build, then I recommend you the same Ryzen 7 7800X3D. And the reason why I wouldn't pick a Ryzen 9 7950X3D or 7900X3D is because those CPUs have actually the same level of performance as the 7800X3D at a higher price, and on top of that, sometimes they may have stability issues. So the 7800X3D doesn't have any stability issues, so very important that you go with this one and not the Ryzen 9 CPUs, which are not going to give you any higher frame rates anyway. Then for the graphics card, we have the best of the best right now, which is the RTX 4090, fastest graphics card in the entire market, where you will be able to achieve 110 plus FPS when it comes to the most high demanding titles at 4K. So of course, no need to turn on the LSS unless you play with ray tracing on and the game is very high demanding, so you are not achieving over 60 plus FPS, which may happen with some of the most modern games. They are very high demanding, but for the most part, you will not need to turn on DLSS even when you turn on ray tracing. So there's no graphics card that's better than this one at the moment when it comes to gaming performance. And of course, you get all of the Nvidia features, so very nice graphics card overall, except for the price. But if you have the money to buy it and you want the best of the best, this is the one to go. The price is over $2,000. To be exact, right now it's going for $2,130, so very expensive. But again, if you want the best of the best, this is the one for you. And if you want to play esports titles with this combo, then you can expect 400 plus FPS when it comes to 1440p competitive settings, 600 plus FPS at 1080p competitive settings, and over 300 FPS on average at 4K competitive settings, once again depending on the game that you are playing. Now, the CPU and GPU, as I said before, are the two most important components, but you should know that you can bottleneck these two components by not having the right power supply, or maybe RAM kit. If it's too slow, it's going to bottleneck your gaming performance. Airflow, because if you do not have enough airflow, the CPU and GPU temps are going to be terrible, and this is going to hurt your gaming performance long term, or maybe it can hurt your gaming performance from day one. So you have to know what you're doing with your gaming system. For that reason, I've made an entire video talking about the best gaming PC builds for all budgets in 2024. That video will be in the top right of the screen, and those PCs have no bottlenecks overall. They work great with each other, so highly recommend you watching that video if you are looking for a complete gaming PC. And in the top link in the description, you have my personal PC help, where I can help you out with your budget and needs, and I will get you the perfect gaming PC build or pre-built PC depending on what you're looking for, or perhaps you're looking for a custom build or a laptop. That's going to be the top link in the description. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.